I was a really bad student. My high school time, I didn't get good grades. Education was the last thing that I focused on. I failed a lot from the first company. I screwed up in a lot of business aspects. Lost a lot of money. For every mistake, for every failed project, I got back up and I learned from it.
Before we begin, I hope you, dear viewers and listeners, forgive us for any grammatical and language mistakes made in this talk. Even though we want to try our best to perfect it, what's most important for us is to get the message across. So we try not to be held back by the fear of making some mistakes. Thank you for your understanding. Now, let's jump right in. For today's episode of the Lessons Learned, it is a huge honor to welcome this special guest. If you think about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, or blockchain, he will be the very first person that comes to your mind. That I'm sure. He is the founder and the group CEO of BitCup, Thailand's leading cryptocurrency exchange platform. And today he's going to share with us how you can better prepare your knowledge and skills for this internet century before it's too late. And this is พี่ท็อปจิรายุทธค่ะ Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome the legendary พี่ท็อปจิรายุทธค่ะ Yay!
Hello everyone. Thank you for having me today.
First of all, I must say that it's such an honor to have you on this little humble channel ฝรั่งอังโมนะคะ I must say that I think me and probably everybody in Thailand now are seeing you literally everywhere คุณเชื่อไหมว่าชีวิตของคุณกำลังจะเปลี่ยนไป Am I right? Okay, so could you please maybe briefly explain about the work that you're doing right now?
Sure. So I am the founder and the group CEO of BitCup. We are the largest cryptocurrency and blockchain company in Thailand. We are one of the fastest growing fintech startups in the country. We have over 220 employees. We grew 600% this year, 400% last year, and is currently one of the most profitable startup in our country. So personally, I've been an entrepreneur for 8 years now, and this is BitCup is my second company. 4 years ago, I founded one of the very first Bitcoin startup in Thailand called coins.co.th. And apart from BitCup, I am also a speaker. As you can see from different stages, learning experiences with everyone in the country.
Right, that is amazing. A lot of people watching this right now, wow, he's a CEO, he's a founder, he's dealing with Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain, all these very complex things. And you also found several companies. I think if people sharing the same idea, perception with me, they probably think that you're a born genius, or like you're probably reading 50 books a day since you're 2 years old or something like that. Is it true, or are you always interested in learning new things about very complex thing? Are you a nerd in school? Are you always a straight A student?
To be honest, for those who have been following my story, I was quite the opposite of what you just mentioned. When I was a student, I was a really bad student. I always got into fights. So bad that my parents sent me away to New Zealand for my high school. They attempted to change the environment, hoping that their son would get better. I was always the not a good student, and even in New Zealand during my high school time, I didn't get good grades either. I wanted to be a footballer. That was my childhood dream profession. Education was the last thing that I focused on when I was younger. Up until when I graduated high school from New Zealand, NCA level 3, the equivalent of Mohok in Thailand.
Right.
That's when I found out I couldn't get into any of the Thai university. I was quite shocked. I remember sitting in one of the coffee shop staring out of the window, and I saw university students wearing university clothes, a uniform. Went back home and told my mom that in this lifetime I would probably don't have this opportunity or chance to wear this uniform like everyone else's anymore. That left a big scar, huge scar on my heart. In my head I thought to myself, why am I such a bad student? And luckily I decided to apply to the UK. I decided to give it a go, to apply to the UK system, and luckily Manchester University accepted me as a student. So I swore I swear to myself before the start of the university that I would change to be a better person, to be a better student, to for the first time in my life focus on studying. And on the first day of my first year university, that's when I went into the library to try to study. It was super painful for someone who has to move all the time, right? To sit still for like 4 or 5 hours every day reading books. It was such a big pain, big change. But I had to because there was this huge scar. I don't want to be ashamed of myself of being a really bad student. So I gave up a lot. I sacrificed a lot during my undergraduate career. I did not go partying like other students. Did not have a relationship. Usually, teenagers years, you would want to have a relationship. You would want to go partying, drinking, like normal kids, right? Manchester is like a ghost town during Christmas because everyone has been home. It has gone home, right? I was the only one there, walking through snow every day to the library to revise, to read books, at least 10 to 12 hours per day. So that totally changed my life. I became a very good student, went to the top university. I ended up graduated top of the class, top of the university. Went to Oxford for my master's degree. Then founded 2 successful startups in Thailand so far. So I would say in the last 10 years, it was a big change and a big sacrifice that I had to make to become a better person.
I'm sure at the end it's all worth it, yeah? If you haven't put those satisfying those holidays and partying moment.
I mean, I couldn't be more proud of myself, to be honest, in the last 10 years. If I had to do this again, I would probably do it the same.
Is it just spending a lot of time studying because you spend like 10 to 12 hours studying, reading books? It's crazy. Like for us, like 2 hours, I'm dead. So is it just about spending a lot of time learning or studying, or do you have any learning habits or key learning strategy that you think it served you really well as well during those days?
Sure. I wouldn't say that I did the right things correctly 100%. I would say the effectiveness of it was not that great because you get burnout. Like try reading 10 to 12 hours 7 days per week continuously for a year or 2 years. You get burnout at some point. So that was the mistake that I did during my university time. Everyone has different techniques. One technique might be working for one person, might backfire on the other person. Maybe encourage you to find what works best for you. It's all about orientation. Literate different techniques, revision. Some might, it might work best for someone to teach, to reinforce their learning experience. So for some other people, it might work best just to listen or to draw, to read. I mean, it's not one size fits all. I would say the quality matters more than the quantity now, based on the past learning mistakes that I did. I was trying to focus on the quantity. Absolutely nothing else apart from reading, and it was painful, super painful. But I was lucky to achieve what I wanted. But if I were to do that again, I would focus more on the quality, not just the quantity part aspect of it. And another key point I would like to give an advice is to focus. Everyone has like 24 hours per day, 7 days per
Right.
week. No one is Elon Musk, right? I'm not Elon Musk either. So we need to focus on what we really want to achieve. We can't have everything in the world. There must be the word, sacrifice in the statement somewhere. You can't have everything. And it's actually one of the property of any great player, right? In any industry, the difference between good players and the great players are 99% versus 1%. 99% are good players. Only the top 1% are the great players in any industry, in any field. If you look at football, right, in the last 10 years, there were only two great footballers, Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. These two guys got all the awards. Left no awards to any other footballers in 10 years. But it doesn't mean that the rest of the footballers are not good footballers. They're very good footballers, but they're not the greatest. Or if you look at companies, 99% are good companies. Only the top 1% are the great companies, like Apple or Disney, right? The long-lasting ones. And what makes something great came down to quite a few properties. What makes something great, and they all share the same properties in any industry. If you look at Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi, the great footballers, they focus on what they do, right? Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, they don't go swimming, they don't go play badminton. They only do one thing and do one thing really well: football. Imagine if Messi or Ronaldo always go and play badminton or swimming. They're not going to be the greatest footballer in history. They only focus on one thing. What is the thing that they are most passionate in and they're best at, right? They focus. Or even in the university time, right? My professors, the finance professors, they always said, guys, please diversify. When it comes to industry, diversify, right? You cannot have one egg in all the eggs in one basket. But if you look at Warren Buffett, the greatest investors of all time, how many stocks does he hold? Many stocks or only a few stocks, right? Warren Buffett doesn't diversify. He focused, right? He focused. Or even, there's this interview that interviewed Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, and the interviewer asked, just within one word, what is that word that describes what it takes you to be where you are today, right?
Right.
What makes you success in one word? Both Bill Gates and Warren Buffett both said focus.
Right.
Even though they're both in totally different industry.
Right.
So the first property is focus. Then the second property of what makes something great is passion. You have to be passionate about something. Cristiano Ronaldo is the first person to hit the training field and the last person to leave the training field. Alex Ferguson, the coach, doesn't need to chase him to training. He's the first to training, the last to leave the training field. Not because he's talented, but he works harder than any other footballers. It makes him become who he is today. He's super passionate about what he does. And imagine if someone handed over you a work and said, "Is this not enough yet?" You can reply right to him or to her, "You're not really passionate in what you're doing." If you're really passionate about something, there's the word enough should not be in the statement because you're so passionate about something. How do you want to get, how do we get better every day at this thing because you're so passionate about that?
Right.
And the last property I would like to share is what we call purpose beyond profit. In the footballers' case, LA Galaxy, American League, they do not throw money at great players. Great players will not play on the American League, even though they have all the money in the world. Money cannot buy great players. They have purpose beyond profit, right? Or even Mozart, the greatest pianist musicians, they focus. They don't go play guitar or drums. Right? They focus on piano. They are passionate about piano more than anyone else in the world, and they have this purpose beyond profits. So, with these three properties that all of the greatest players share in any industry, any fields. When we are looking back to studying, how do we become great players? Then obviously we have to focus. We cannot learn everything in the world. You have to be an expert at something. Otherwise, you're just going to be a good player, not really a great player. If I were to give advice to the new generation, please choose to study something that you're passionate in. Then no one would have to chase you to the library because you're really passionate about something, and you will be eager to learn more how to become better at this thing. You're not going to be here for comfort. You want to create great things, not here for comfort. If you found out what you're really passionate in, and then you focus on it. You can't be expert at everything. You focus on that one thing and do it really well.
Amazing.
And you have to have this last property also, purpose beyond profit. If the only goal is to get a gold medal, then it's a really empty life. You have to dig deeper, apart from grades, apart from receiving first class honors. What are the purposes, or what is your main purpose of this action? So I think these are the three suggestions I would like to give the advice.
Amazing. Oh, I'm going back to school now. Is there any way, like, of course for you I heard the story that you found out about Bitcoin from an article, right? But is there forน้อง let's say in school, entering school right now, do you have any other ways that can help for them to sort out or look for their own passion, or what are their purpose in any way?
First of all, it has to be authentic. The purpose and the passion has to be authentic. Do not copy others, because it won't be long lasting otherwise. And the way to find your purpose and your passion is to connect the dots backwards, to try a lot of stuff, and at one point you will know how to connect the dots backwards and arrive at your own conclusion and arrive at your own destination that no one else would have this insights or vision that you have, because everyone has different life experiences. So do not copy others, be authentic, and try a lot of stuff. Make sure we're not scared of failing. Try to do at least one thing out of your comfort zone every day. It doesn't have to be big, just one thing. Push your comfort zone, step out of your comfort zone. If you do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, it will be the new normal for you. It will be normal. Your comfort zones are getting bigger and bigger every day. Do not just stay still. Every action that we take, you will learn something about that action or experiences, people you meet, places you go, books you read. These are different aspects that form who you are, the unique you that is different from the rest of the people in the world.
Amazing. Now that you talk about one thing a day to step out of your comfort zone, right? I know that especially for you now, you're extremely busy person. How do you still manage time? I know that because it's a completely new thing, and now that we think about Bitcoin, your face would probably popped up. You're the face of Bitcoin in Thailand now, and it's completely new thing. Not even the Bank of Thailand know what it was, when you first started to get into this business, right? Of course, it takes a lot of learning to be able to trial and errors here and there. And also I learned that you also use 30 apps in order to run your business and all those things. And it would take a lot of time to really try out different tools that nobody probably going to tell you right away, do this or do that. So how do you still manage time to learn new things every single day? Do you have a learning routine or time set aside for learning? How does it work in your daily life nowadays?
Sure. Albert Einstein once said that compounding interest is the eighth miracle of the world. The impacts of the compounding effects. I was fortunate to be doing this one particular thing over a long period of time. This is my second company now. This is the 8th year that I am in this same industry, pushing the frontier. But those that only got to know me in the last few years did not, understand what I've been through in the first 4 years during my first company. And in this world, the compounding effect takes place in almost every industry. Once you do things, the same things for a long time, you get to have this compounding effect. You get to grow faster than anyone else who start from scratch, because you have the spillover knowledge, spillover network, right? Spillover reputation, brand. These things are scalable once you do it for a long time. I think the best analogy is to say that now I am sitting under a big tree, but no one saw me when I was planting the tree early on. How hard it was to plant this tree. They only saw me under this big tree already, enjoying the experience. But it was a tough journey. I failed a lot from the first company. A lot. I was called by the anti-money laundering officers. I was called by the Bank of Thailand. I was called by the RD Revenue Department. Almost every regulator called me in the first company. I hired badly in the first company. I screwed up in a lot of business aspects. Lost a lot of money. Those things are not covered, on media. But for every mistake, for every failed project, I got back up and I learned from it, right? Then, when it comes to a second company, doing exactly the same thing. For any sane person, you're not going to repeat the same mistakes, right? Because you're doing exactly the same thing in exactly the same industry, right? So, you can scale at a much faster rate and reduce the errors, reduce the mistakes, the learning experience. That's why BitCup is able to grow so fast. Right? In the last 2 years, in 11 months, we are one of the biggest fintech company in the country already, because no one was talking about the first 6 years of mistakes. And also, another compounding effect is that I gathered all the like-minded individuals that I encountered in my first company, my past employees who ventured out together, who made the mistakes together. We shared this collective learning experiences to BitCup. So I have a super strong team around me who made the same mistakes in the past. And this is a compounding effect, because they are not going to be making the same errors either. Right? And we don't need to start from scratch with the communication issues, the spillover knowledge, or spillover communication or information. Those 6 years, no one has ever talked about. They only saw BitCup in the last 2 years of it. So I think my case is different. I was fortunate to be able to do the same thing for a long time and able to enjoy this compounding effect. And I would encourage everyone to do the same. It's the eighth miracle of the world, like compounding interest or investment. If you were to start early, you will enjoy the benefit as time goes by.
Right. Okay. Now let's jump into something that I really interested in and really want. I'm sure a lot of people are here for it as well. For the future of our education. Yeah. Now, of course, we discuss a lot about what is lacking and that maybe the education system right now might not fully support or support the learning of the people to be prepared for the what you said exponential development of the world. So what are some of the big changes that you think we'll see in our education from now onwards?
Sure, I think disruption is coming to the education space. finally. With the 5G technology, the AI, the social media, we can learn things from the go whenever we are free. Right? For today's life, for example, I don't need to be in your office to share learning experience because we're leveraging on technology, on the ready-made, cheap cost, low cost technology. People are able to access education in new ways, and university has been not doing a great job at keeping up with the world in terms of knowledge and processes. If you look at my own experience, before I started these two blockchain companies, I graduated from economics. I did not use any of my economics training to build these two great companies. And where would I get educated about blockchain 10 years ago? We're in the luckiest generation to be able to get access to what we call the internet.
Exactly.
All the world's information at your fingertip. I was able to read an article from Mark Anderson, that changed my perspective about Bitcoin early on. And Mark Anderson is a thought leader from the Silicon Valley, in America. And I was able to pick his brain by moving my thumb. What could we ask for more, right? I could get access to his thinking, his belief, pick his brain by just moving my thumb anytime when I'm free. That is like the best magic you can have in our generation. So going forward with the education for our country, we don't need to train a lot of good, great teachers. We just need to have one really great teachers in every field. And we leverage on technology like what we're using right now. The other 70 million students, customers, would be the student of this one great teachers by moving that thumb.
Am I gonna be out of jobs? Am I gonna be unemployed very soon? Is it scary future for like in terms of human resources, or is it something that we probably will have to work on better to be able to figure out?
So if we were to dig deeper, the demand has never disappeared, right? The demand for anything, the values that are being delivered, we still need those values regardless of any generation we're in. But the things that are changing are the way we deliver those values, the way we fulfill those demands. For example, if you look at the first industry, communication, do we only need communication service in our generation, or since the previous generation, or since the dark age, right? Everyone needed to communicate. That's the value. But the way we change communication is happening all the time, right? From sending letters to traditional telegrams to email to international phone calls, 30 baht, 60 baht per minute, to using Zoom, Skype, Line. We're enjoying a much better service. But the demand for communication has always been there. Right? Or if you look at photos, taking pictures, do you still remember the company called Kodak? Right?
Yes, most definitely.
Camera company.
Right.
Someone said the reason why Kodak is no longer here is because are we taking less photos today or more photos?
More.
We're taking way more photos, right? Much more. But how come Kodak is not able to survive? The biggest camera company. If there's a demand for taking way more photos, how is this company not managed to grow in tandem with the market? And the reason is because the demand has never disappeared. The demand has always been there. But the supply equation, the way we deliver those values, must be updated, must be changed for the better. Anything that is cheaper, faster, better, wins in the long run, no matter how much market power you have. So when it comes to education, to answer your questions, the demand for education must still be there and will be there in the future, right? The need for knowledge, the values are the same, but the way we deliver those values the way we deliver education services must change. So with the use of new technology like AI, for example, or VR, AR, say VR technology,
Right.
everyone with the smart glasses, right? So we deliver education in a new manner, in a manner that is faster, better, cheaper, right? And if you talk about faster, cheaper, obviously this is obvious, right? Online education wins for sure. Right, you can learn things on the go, unlike the university that forces you to come at a certain time, wear uniform, strict processes that doesn't encourage creativity.
Right.
When you're learning things online, you can learn whenever you're free,
Sure.
learn from different sources around the world. So for sure, the future of learning will be different because everyone would want a better service, a cheaper, faster service to education. And my advice to the new generation is to take whatever courses you are fully passionate in, any courses, because by the time you graduate, you're not going to be using any of the knowledge.
Okay, so don't think too much about like, am I gonna apply this for the rest of my life?
That's I would say that's a short-sighted way of seeing education. Right? The world is moving so fast now that by the time you graduate, all the assumptions that you learn at school would no longer be valid. And the short-sighted way to think about this is, say, after the end of my university career, that's all the end of my learning. That's it. Throw the hat, end of my learning. That's a very short-sighted way of doing things because we spend around 30 years, 40 years of our working career.
Right.
Why are we determining what we're going to do for the rest of our lives by the first 3 years of education, first 4 years of university? And if you were to end your learning in the first 4 years, you would learn only 1/10 of your career, and 1/10 of your working career. And at this moment where the world is moving much faster, only getting faster and faster every day. So you need to learn all the time. I think the most important skill that all the students must master is the ability to learn how to learn. Right? I think there was this one quote that is my favorite quote. Someone said in the Industrial Revolution era, those who thrive are those who can read and write. Right? Those who thrive are those who can read and write. But in the internet age, in the internet century era, those who thrive are those who can unlearn and relearn things. Right? Everyone can read and write now. But those that will thrive are those that are able to unlearn and relearn things. This is the skill that we need in the information age when the world is moving so fast. So I think the most important skill is to learn how to learn. And you can master this at any courses that you take. So choose what you enjoy most. I didn't use any of my economics training, and I can create 2 successful companies. The second skill I would advise is to be patient about something because compounding takes time. Right? Compounding effects takes time. A lot of people, especially in this era, want instant gratification. They want it now, right away.
Exactly.
Right. But those that are different, that are going to be the leader, that makes a difference in the future, are those that think different, act different, are those with patience. This patient thing, the new generation doesn't really. We are lacking patience. We need to have more patience because compounding doesn't take much effect early on. The effect is much larger as we go down the timeline. Right? Think of the exponential curve. The earlier of the graph doesn't make a lot of impact, but once it hits inflection point. That's where all the effects kicks in. So you must have patience also. These are the two skill sets that I would advise. And these are not hard skills. These are like soft skill sets
Right.
that everyone must have, regardless of your specialties.
Amazing. Here in Front, we also try to push people to think hard about how we learn things. The strategy that would still be applicable and flexible across the field, across the discipline that you're in. And of course, as for that you mentioned about lifelong learning, and also the changes we're going to see, it's going to keep right now we see a huge, like very, very quick changes. We see the things change every second of our life as opposed to in the past. So of course, how can we, as a learner and as a teacher as well, maybe a lot of teachers are watching this right now. Am I going to be replaced? It's going to be only one teacher who's going to be. So how can we maybe do the things that we have to do, or what are the things that we can do right now in order to try to keep up with the exponential change that is going to come to you sooner or later?
I think the most important thing is the mindset that differentiates between the ones that will thrive and the ones that are being left behind. The mindset, because we all have 2 arms, 2 legs, but the differentiator is the mindset, the way we approach things. We need to have a growth mindset, an open mindset, not a fixed mindset. We cannot assume taking the same action, making the same assumption, and expecting the same results in a different world. So we need to unlearn. Those who are willing to unlearn and those who are willing to relearn would thrive first. Imagine if you're playing a game. I'm sure you were once a winner in one of the games in the past. So you must master the rules of the game. Otherwise, you will never become a winner. Then you will have strategies that are aligned with the rules of the game. Then you become the winner. And imagine all of a sudden the rules of the game change. And if you were to be stubborn on the old rules, the old action, the old assumption, you're not going to be the winner anymore. Those with an open mindset that are able to embrace change, that are not used to the old assumption, taking the old action, those that are willing to unlearn, relearn will thrive, will become the new winner for the world as well, not just in a game. And the thing I would like to emphasize is that opportunities or money, they don't disappear out of thin air. Money only changes pockets, right? Money cannot disappear from the economy. It changes pockets. Same with opportunity. So make sure we have an open mindset. We would adapt first, and then we will create opportunities for yourself, and you would create opportunities for everyone around you as well. I mean, this disruption occurs all the time, from time to time. Do you know there's this one occupation, he or she must get up before everyone else is in the morning, and with a long stick, they would walk around and hit everyone's window to wake people up. There was an actual job, occupation. And then after the arrival of the alarm clock, he or she is totally unemployed, right? Is he or she going to come and say, the world is a worse place now with the alarm clock? The world is the world a better place or a worse place with the alarm clock? Right? He or she must unlearn the skill of waking people up and relearn the new skill. They would contribute to our society in new ways. I mean, things that we're using today are magic of the past, and things beyond magic. Right? We're using magic right now to be able to see each other's faces. If you were to bring this technology back 100 years ago, everyone would beg for it. Right? It would be beyond their imagination. The world is a much better place now with the advancement in technology. And it gives us more time to contribute in other ways to the society. So the world must move forward. We must create better things for the new generations, and for the current generation, we just need to adapt, relearn and unlearn, and and free us time to create new things for the world.
Amazing. Oh, wait. I think I don't know about you listening, our viewers right now, but I think I feel hopeful about the future and knowing that things are going to change for the better because we work every single day. P-Top is working every single day, sharing his knowledge and vision so that we can move and unlearn and relearn for the better future. And hopefully this is the interview session that I must thank P Top once again for spending your time with us. I know you're like the 11 out of 10 busiest man in Thailand or in the world right now. So I really hope that everyone watching this right now are better prepared for this exponential change and keep unlearning and relearning things. Anything else you want to add for the eager, enthusiastic learner right now watching this? The last thing?
Sure. Maybe one last thing before I leave the
Sure.
interview. For those who thought that the previous generation took away all the opportunities and leave nothing for us, I would encourage you to think again because I'm hopeful about the world. The world must move forward. Imagine if Jack Ma or Jeff Bezos were to think in the same manner, they would say that Bill Gates took all their opportunities. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, with the computer revolution, took all their opportunities. Then, e-commerce would not emerge, right? Alibaba, Amazon would not emerge. Then if Mark Zuckerberg thinks in the same manner, or Jeff Bezos, Jack Ma took away all my opportunity, this older generation took away everything, all the opportunity for the new generation, then Facebook would not be here today. We would not have Facebook for the world. We would not have Instagram for the world. Then if traffic, and all these Grab and Uber guys think, Airbnb guys think that Facebook, Instagram took away all their opportunities, then the world would, not have Grab, Line, Gojek, Airbnb today. And if you guys think that Grab, Uber, Airbnb took away all our opportunities already, think again. There's always been new opportunities in every generation. The world is moving forward. We just need to have an open mindset, the ability to unlearn and relearn and create new opportunities for yourself and those around you.
Wow. Okay. Unthink and rethink again. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And that's it for today. Bye.